The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here he is, Brandon.
All right, welcome back to the Brandon Peters Show for our little Halloween spooktacular episode. And back with us from the Bob and Tom Show and the voice of our lovely show, Jessica Alsman.
Hello, Brandon. Your show is the shiznit.
It's fucking awesome.
My chicken.
So yeah, I feel like we haven't recorded in a long time, but it hasn't been, but like for listeners, I guess not, because they just like heard us at like PopCon and Days of the Dead recently, which we had a summer. Did we tour? Is that what we did?
I think so.
We did
I'd call it that.
Yeah, a little 2-show tour in July and August, but a lot of fun doing that. As far as I know, we'll be back at Days of the Dead next summer. Who knows? Which
you tell me. I will.
They asked, and
go wherever.
They specifically said you and if you could get Jessica too. And I was like, okay, I'll ask her. But that next Days of the Dead shaping up to be good. Got a lot of Jason actors and aliens folk, and one star of Terrifier so far. I'm hoping more show up.
You think they're going to do Terrifier? Are they doing Terrifier 4?
They are.
Terror
yeah.
4? Okay.
Yes, they said there will be 4 and maybe 5. They don't know, but he said he knows the ending, and you'll know it when you see it. But right now, it could be 4, but he could also see doing 5. But money talks too.
Oh yeah.
And these are like the most profitable movies around right now. And Terrifier 3 on pace to outgross Joker domestically.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Joker Folie à Deux, not the original Joker, but yeah, it's been just doing well. It only cost $2.5 million. So on opening weekend, when it opens to 18 in the U.S., we're already just printing money now.
That is insane.
Yeah, the second one was the most profitable film of 2022. Made like 15 globally off a $750,000 budget. So, just loving seeing that independent film success going. Even if you don't like Terrifier, you gotta root for that. That's very good.
Nicky always got picked on and constantly put down.
Hello, friend.
You crazy
Moron.
but ugly. Until he discovered
Release your evil.
the power to fight back.
You can do it, Nicky.
Adam Sandler. Little Nicky.
Yes. I mean, woof, woof.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, November 10th.
It's okay. So Sandler you're the biggest Adam Sandler in the world. I'm gonna give you that title.
At least in the state, I think.
Is Happy Gilmore? That's like the biggest, most iconic character, or is there one that's
I don't know.
that's non-SNL characters, but like
It's probably between Happy and Billy, but then again, you got Robbie Hart from The Wedding Singer. You got Bobby Boucher. Like literally, a lot of those 4 characters right there are so big.
Yeah.
And then even Little Nicky, because
Little Nicky's the most marketed. I mean, you can buy figures. That's the only one you can buy.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Yeah.
This is a Little Nicky toy from was it McFarlane Toys? Yeah.
There you go.
Donnie got it for me. He goes to toy shows sometimes, but it's a Little Nicky sleeping on the radiator of the apartment with Mr. Beefy. And Mr. Beefy says, "You love acting. I love pissing." God, we love Robert's. Don't we? I love some.
Which, I actually this summer saw a guy. There was a guy at PopCon Louisville. One day he was Blank Man, and one day he was Little Nicky. I don't think it was the day you were there, but he was Little Nicky too.
That's fantastic.
Very cool.
Little Nicky, I think, and I'm trying to go in order of his movies. Little Nicky is the first one. Well, it's his first Happy Madison movie that's starring Sandler, because they did Deuce Bigelow.
Okay.
This movie, the Happy Madison movie, is the first one that kind of brings all these Easter eggs from the different universes together.
I was going to ask you because so
And
Little
there's
Nicky.
so many little Easter eggs before because I didn't have that many movie either. Even like the animated shorts that he did,
Mhm.
and it's like this is fantastic.
So yeah, so Little Nicky, which is our main topic today, directed by Stephen Brill, starring Sandler, or written by Adam Sandler, Tim Herlihy, Stephen Brill, starring Adam Sandler, Patricia Arquette, Harvey Keitel, who replaced Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Risa Fons, Tommy Tiny Lister Jr., Rodney Dangerfield, Alan Covert, Peter Dante, Jonathan Loughran, the voice of Robert Smigel, Reese Witherspoon, and a shitload of cameos and stuff. I'm not going to run through them, including a great John Lovitz cameo that I like. But yeah, after two of the devil's three sons escape hell and wreak havoc on Earth, the devil must send his third son, the mild-mannered Nicky, to bring them back before it's too late. And since you're touching on it, I was going to ask, I'm like, was this the first one that really, and you said yes, brought like nods to other movies, characters from other movies, and even his audio CDs come to life here with some of his bits. Like the John Lovitz one is from a CD.
The Peeper.
Yeah, the Peeper.
The Peeper, what's going through his head? I remember that from like literally watching this. I'd go to adamsandler.com and it wasn't like his Facebook page. It was like an actual website where I would memorize each movie and like just pictures and stuff. And anyway, like the animated shorts were there. But yeah, John Lovitz starts off the entire movie as the Peeper, which is like already a call to something else. So it's fantastic.
And it calls back. Yeah, there's like, because yeah, it's like the Peeper, Lovitz, and then Ladies' Night calls back to the wedding. So you're like, just
the whole dang thing. You know what? Let me actually have notes. When I was watching, I was like, maybe I should actually pay attention to all the little things because as opposed to going, haha, there it is. He does this. Haha, there it is. There he goes. But yeah, no, yeah, the Ladies' Night, that's perfect because it goes back to the wedding singer. And then he's like kind of creeping behind the curtain thing in hell. But it's not a curtain, but still creeping just like that. It's amazing.
When that bird shows up there with Ladies' Night, I showed my son this movie because he's been going through Adam Sandler movies just out of his own curiosity. He wanted to hit up and he's been watching them.
Good for him. He should.
And he's going as Paul Blart for Halloween.
Nice. Does he have a Segway?
No, he doesn't have a Segway. He's got a scooter, but he doesn't have a Segway. I'm not paying that much for a Segway for a Halloween costume. But like,
rent one?
Huh? Yeah,
you can rent one.
Could rent one. But when that second one, when the Ladies' Night comes and the bird, when he's watching the devil through the window, he cackled. I was like, yeah, that's a good bit. Like the whole thing comes together. The big stupid bird and the Ladies' Night.
It's supposed to be stupid and silly.
Yeah.
Heck, Little Nicky, his mother was a goat, and the whole time, like, the goat.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Adam Sandler with the goat. Yeah, from the CDs and whatnot. Yeah.
We also have it. You Can Do It.
Rob Schneider makes a cameo.
Chubbs is back.
Townie. Yeah, Chubbs. What are the other big ones? There's a. Yeah, there's a lot. I like how Quentin Tarantino's in that though, and I want to know. I
forgot when I watched this. I was like, "Oh crap! Yeah, Tarantino's all over this movie."
That like blows me away. I'm like, how in the heck did that even come about? I wonder.
And this is before Punch Drunk Love, so I'd imagine Tarantino sees Punch Drunk Love and he's like, "Oh yeah, Sandler," but no, he was
must
there
have
before.
Just been a fan. Like this is awesome. I want to do this. I kind of like Robert Smigel being the voice of Mr. Beefy is kind of like a little nod to being the voice of the comic insult dog Triumph. Comic insult dog. Wait, how does that go? Anyway,
Triumph.
You know what I mean?
The insult, the insult comic dog or something.
Thank you. I'm like reversing it. Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's fun. And then Mr. Beefy. What is that? A bulldog? Is that what you call him? I'm so terrible with dog breeds. I'm like, the slobbery, big, fluffy. Yeah, I'm not fluffy, but like Sandler always has those dogs. So I was always wondering if that was actually his dog on set. But I'm like, his dog might not be one of those like trained actor ones that can literally sit and pee on command, or who knows. But he always had a bulldog, or has bulldogs.
Yeah.
So slobbery. Also, can we talk about how Little Nicky's brothers and Adrian, I already forgot the actor's name. You've already said it, but he's in House of Dragons. So when I'm watching House of Dragons.
Risa Fons.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm like, holy crap, that's the dude from Little Nicky. That's the only thing I'll always see him as. When I see him, I'm like, that's the guy from Little Nicky.
He played the villain in the worst Spider-Man movie. My least favorite Spider-Man movie, The
Wait.
Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield.
Oh,
He was the lizard. Um,
poor Andrew Garfield. I liked him.
it's funny, as much as I did not like that first one, I defend his second one, which people didn't like, with the Electro and stuff. I
Oh.
thought I liked that one. It was very throwback Batman Forever type movie. I was fine with it. But yeah, no, him and then Tiny Lister. I think this is one of the first like meaty roles like Tiny Lister was given, I think. Because he was around. He was like, everybody knew his look. And he was in No Holds Barred. That was his big role. But in a major motion picture, can't think. I don't know. But then there are other people, including the Dana Carvey referee. That's from a sketch too,
Whitey
right?
DeVoe.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you'll know him more from 8 Crazy Nights when he's in the actual movie. That's Nickel Bow. But as soon as I heard that voice again, it's not even the same, I hear it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot all about this. Like it's all inserted into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's got basketball in here, and he's a big basketball guy. So
watching Sandler hoop, you didn't need like a stunt double. Maybe during that slam dunk when he's like flying through the air. Maybe they use special effects. I think Adam probably did it himself. He probably just had the skills. That's fine. The Arquette family.
Oh yeah.
How do you bring those in? You got Patricia Arquette, and then her dad's in there
Lewis,
playing like the Reverend, and then of course you had the other Arquette who was in The Wedding Singer. So it's like I like it. Just like let's keep it in the fam. Let's hire people. The same guy that played his. I'm so terrible with actors' names right now, but the man that played his brother-in-law in The Wedding Singer, who's like in Goodfellas and Godfather Part 2, he makes a cameo. You know, like oh, if you need that guy, that type of a vibe.
I think Frank Severo is his name. Or Severo. Severo.
Yes.
The one thing it's funny, like Alexis Arquette, who is in The Wedding Singer. My son and I went and saw David Arquette speak at Ball State a couple years ago, and he was, him and Alexis were very close, and he talked about how Alexis really was grateful to Sandler, even though there was some fun in the way. It was the first time somebody cast him and let him play himself, like as a person, and didn't care and was like, "No, just be that" and stuff. But jokes are what they are in the movie. Alexis was very happy about being able to just like be more themselves on screen than she'd ever been before. So that was a part where I'm like, oh, okay. Very time with Give Me Time.
The two guys that are big fans of Little Nicky, you got Peter Dante and John Lockwood.
Yes.
They go by Pete and John. I love that. But you're always going to see them.
That's one of my favorite characters, where he's like, oh yeah, man. Like I always love that character. Me and like, I know this has been like a movie that, a lot of Sandler's movies get dogged all the time, but this one I think was quite a bit, but like this was the first one Ebert liked most. He didn't give it like the full 3 stars as a recommend for him, but this was the highest at the time. He gave it 2.5, and actually gave positive notice to a Sandler film. But me and my friend James went and saw this opening weekend when it came out, and we were, we knew our metal and stuff, and we were like, we thought it was hilarious. We loved all the metal jokes, and when like Ozzy pops up, it was like because it was like, oh, of course, with like a giant bat flying around.
It was the greatest thing ever. Like, it is the best. That's such a wonderful ending. And it's probably the only time I could actually understand what Ozzy's saying. Also was in that movie.
Right.
Half the time. Of course, that was really early on.
Hit him with this.
So nice.
There was one of my favorite comedic moments in a movie happens in this, and I can't explain why I think it's so funny. And it's very niche specific. You're never gonna guess, but I will let you try to guess. But it cracked me up.
I just want to guess because this is something I'm like, I love this, and it's so silly. Alan Covert.
Nope.
Okay.
Go. What is it though?
No, it's like at the end of the movie, the roommate, of course, or that he's living with, when he gets behind Little Nicky in the mirror and goes, "Go to her." It's just like
That
so
is good.
cheesy. It's so cheesy and it's meant to be, and I love it so much.
All right. My favorite. This is so stupid. I can't explain why it cracks me up. After Nicky gets the power of the rainbows and stuff, and he marches over with the army of goblins, minions, or whatever.
Demons.
And Reza Fons says something about, oh, you can do good. One of the little goblins goes, "It's true." And the way they say that, it feels like, I don't know why. I died laughing when I saw it in the theater. I died laughing when I bought it on DVD. I died laughing then. I watched it just this time, and I thought it was funny. I don't know what it is. There's some specific 80s child movie thing, fantasy, that's being like riffed really quick there, that's hitting me in the funny bone, that I don't know what it is. And it's the stupidest, hardest thing to explain, but like, and then it gets like evaporated right after that. But he's like, "It's true." The way he says it, the way they film it, his finger pointing feels like something out of some like kids fantasy movie of the 80s in the weirdest, wrongest part here. And it just, I don't know why it cracks me up. And I think I've thought about it forever. And I don't know why. Not a Little Nicky. But I thought that delivery, that everything, it's so funny. I don't know why.
The little kid, I like that there's a basketball game. I forget. Sandler does really good with sports. You got to insert sports in his movies. But
sports and kids. He's really good with both of those.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, for sure.
When the little guy's like, "Hey, what brought you to the game?" And the little kid's like, "I came for the beer and the bitches." It's like amazing. And I like that part always sticks with me too. So as soon as I'm like rewatching it, I was like, "Awesome."
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it's so funny. Like this movie, like I hadn't seen it in probably over 10 years, and it all came back to me like real quick. Like it stuck. And yeah, I like that kid. And it's so perfectly set up because they like lower the drinking age and they have all the kids shit faced. And then you have it established, and he's like confidently at the game, like, "Yeah, I'm here for the beer and the bitches."
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And they bring Henry Winkler back as himself.
Oh, yeah.
It's so sweet. Again, it's like, hey, how do I show love to all these people?
Yeah, it's a lot in this movie. Like
there's so many. Bill Walton, George Wallace,
Yeah.
like it's insane how many people are actually in this. And again, it's like maybe after all the successes of the other movies, it's like we want to make a cameo. And of
Yeah.
course, maybe it's because it's his own like production company, and I'm sure he's like got partnered with other people. But at the same time, it's like you can maybe do more of what you want at that point in time. Like I don't know how it actually works.
Yeah.
Or people are reaching out saying, "I want to be a part of this."
Well, you know what's funny? I've had to twice explain to my son, like my kids, like, you know how not in the public consciousness Dan Marino is now? Like he used to be the de facto football player back in the day. He was the best quarterback.
Never
for
won
decades.
a Super Bowl though.
Yep,
Poor
he
guy.
never won the big one. He went his rookie year, lost, and never went back. And like it was Dan Marino, like he was the guy with football. Like it was Dan Marino. You don't have a quarterback as good as Dan Marino. He popped up in Ace Ventura. My kids are like, "Oh," they didn't realize he was a real football player being used for a movie.
I'm like, what?
Kinda.
That's a really big deal.
And then he shows up in that, and my son was like, "What was that about?" And I was like, "Well, it's the joke that he never won the Super Bowl, so he's trying to trade his soul to the devil for a Super Bowl." I was like,
"You're too good for that. I can't do that."
Okay, but yeah, it's Dan Marino because he never
he
won.
did
a
it for
Super Bowl.
Namath.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had to explain to
That's
Joe
funny.
Namath too, a guy who actually won a Super Bowl. But I was like, I had to pause and explain this whole thing. I'm like, oh yeah, gosh,
Well.
wow. So yeah, Dan Marino, not gone, but certainly somewhat forgotten, unless you're like an NFL hardcore or something like that. But yeah, I just weird. But that seems to be is that the only like dated appearance from somebody that's like a pop culture reference that's really, really dated? Aside from maybe knowing the Ozzy bit a head off a bat for kids or younger people.
Do you think they know that? Although
I had to explain that one to my son, but like he's
Regis Philbin.
Oh,
Regis Philbin.
Yeah.
I think him being on there, I don't think people know who. They might not know. They might just know Kelly.
Yeah.
And not even know like Kathy Lee Gifford. You know what I mean? The whole how it used to be.
That's true. That's where Ryan Seacrest is now. Like that was Regis. Though, they might know Regis from that great Who Wants to Be a Millionaire clip with Norm Macdonald that I never got.
Gosh.
Where he's like, "Yo, because I said that, and if I take away 2, those are gonna be He's like, "No, it's random. It's random." He's like, "Ah," then the 2 go away. And Norm does his little whoop.
I
Which
love Norm
he's not in
Macdonald.
this movie. A lot of people.
He is not.
Yeah.
But you know what? Neither was Chris Farley, but they do a
Nope.
nice little mention of him. Thank
Well, Chris
goodness.
Farley had passed here, so
Uh-huh.
yeah.
But I love the ending. The ending
Yep.
is so, I remember even watching that for the first time. I was like, oh, like melting. It's like, oh, his mom, who's an angel in heaven, played by Reese
Yep.
Witherspoon, she's now dating her new aerobics instructor, Chris Farley. And it is so wonderful. It makes you feel so good.
Oh, yeah.
So even that's just like, what a great little, I don't know. It's just wonderful.
We did
And then,
get
of course, yeah, Chubbs is in heaven too.
Yep.
So, because, we saw him in Happy Gilmore go,
Yeah.
which I think Carl Weathers is there right now.
disturbing foreshadowing.
Yeah,
yeah.
a little.
But I
Yeah,
did
good life.
they did use the previous Weekend Update guy, Norm Macdonald, or not Norm, to Norm Macdonald, Kevin Nealon, who I've always been a big fan of.
Love him.
I loved his. So my Weekend Update, like 3 in a row, like I started getting into SNL because a friend when I was a kid told me about Dennis Miller doing the news, and he'd do that. I am out of here. That was his sign off, and I started tuning into SNL to watch this Dennis Miller guy who was funny. And then Kevin Nealon's approach, I think, is one of the most underappreciated approaches to Weekend Update because he plays it like a real news guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that about it. Like it was like a satire. It's a more satirical approach than parody. And yeah, I like Kevin Nealon on the news. And Norm Macdonald was my guy, like big time.
Kevin and Norm, my favorite. And that, the fact you said that, that's a great way. Kevin was so good because he wasn't like saying like, I'm going to tell you a joke now.
He gets
Wait for you to
overlooked.
laugh.
Yeah.
I hate how it kind of is now.
Well,
Because
I
it's
love the
almost
two
like,
now. I didn't. I
you,
wasn't.
I don't know.
I wasn't the biggest. So I wasn't the biggest Seth Meyers fan. He like, there was stuff about the Seth Meyers presentation but he was a little too look at me, I'm cute type thing. I love the Che and Jost banter. Like I like Che a lot. Like I think both of them could do well just by themselves. But I like them. I like Tina Fey was good like by herself, but like I didn't like Fallon up there with her. But Colin Quinn, I just remember I feel bad because I remember like they didn't get rid of Norm and they went right to Colin Quinn, who was not Norm Macdonald, not even close. And I was like, huh. that was
But I
weird.
still like it. Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, I don't hate who it's doing now. You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
I miss the old vibe. I'm at that age now where I'm like, man, I like the way it used to be.
Well, it's SNL
It's
like
also it's like pause. Let's do everything for quick hits, I guess,
Yeah.
versus how it used to be like you can watch the whole thing without it being like a clip to use later on social media.
right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, times are different now. Like I've never given up on SNL. Like I have to say, like I've been watching it for it's gonna be 50, and I've probably been watching it for most of not 40 years, but damn close because I was probably under 10 when I started watching it. But like it was like I don't know. I've always watched it. I've seen comedians, comic routines come and go. It's always the same. It's just it's a wheelhouse for 90 minutes for people to do stuff. And like everybody has, I've noticed this ever since I've been watching it. Insert previous cast here was better. Like, so when I'm watching it with Sandler and Farley and laughing my ass off and them, I'm being told that, well, it was better when Aykroyd and Murray and Jane Curtin, that was the better
No one
one.
says the 80s are better, do they?
We all realized the biggest star Eddie Murphy came from there, but yeah, when
else?
Lauren was gone, Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Yeah.
but the end of the 80s is where it picked back up again, and then like when I'm watching with Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry and stuff, and I'm being told, well, it was better when it was Hartman and da da da. Okay, and then I'm watching with Sandberg and Rudolph and Hader and stuff, and it's like, well, it was better when Will Ferrell and that. So every time,
Oh yeah.
it's funny because we all remember the good sketches, but there's bad sketches. It's just
Oh, for sure. You only remember the things you love.
yeah. So it's always like that. Like, I mean, can you not tell me that the Larry David sketch with what was the guy he was in the police thing? He's like, can a bitch get a donut or whatever when he was the shooting range, the police shooting thing, and he was, I forget what his name was. That was hilarious. But like, yeah, it's always been the previous guys. But next, question for you. This is
Okay.
this is the most random Little Nicky discussion of all time. So would you say, okay, so and maybe not even, but Eddie Murphy was definitely one of the biggest stars ever from SNL, but Sandler's got to be like number 2 if he's number 1, or even number 1, because Sandler came and never left. Even though he went to streaming and stuff, he kind of jumped there, and like comedy movies don't do well at the box office, so maybe he was ahead of the game. He never saw like a big downturn. But would Sandler be one of the biggest celebrities from SNL of
I
all
think
time?
it's
Will
Sandler
Ferrell's
and
there,
Will
but
Ferrell.
Ferrell's up and
And
down.
I'm so hard for me. I would say yes, but at the same time, I'm partial. So
Bill
I can admit
Bill
that, but
Murray, very big, but like he never like
you
had
know what though? Bill
juggernaut
Murray
box
and Dan
office.
Aykroyd. That it might be Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase. You know what I mean? Because
But
if
what
they
are
were
they
all,
doing now? I mean, like
but
Sandler
they're
has
older,
never
so
had
they
a drought.
can't. He's not that old yet, though.
Yeah.
They're older than him.
True.
I mean,
But them during
Ghostbusters.
Aykroyd. What's your favorite 2000s Dan Aykroyd movie?
Oh, I would say 51st Dates.
Oh, gee. Okay. Fair enough.
I can do
Wow.
this. I
Well
can do
played.
this.
Well played. But I'm just like, yeah, but he's like just soaring.
He does podcasts, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's of the stars of all time. Like, yeah, like Mike Myers had a window where he was
He was so
unstoppable.
big. He was everywhere. Yeah.
He had
Well,
Wayne's
even
World,
Dana
Austin Powers,
Harvey.
Shrek. Like, yeah.
God, Phil Hartman could have gone forever.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Farley was big for his couple years. Well, it's so
man.
crazy what small window Farley was. But
It's probably Eddie Murphy, Sandler, like Will Ferrell.
Chris
you
Rock
could
was
even
pretty big. Tina Fey.
Yeah, it's insane. You can almost say Jimmy Fallon because now he's hosting the Tonight Show. I'm not saying he's the biggest. I'm sorry, Jimmy,
Yeah.
you're not. Other people probably could have done the job if they wanted it.
Yeah.
Like if Sandler was like, yeah, I wanna host
Conan
this.
should have been it.
Should
Well,
have.
Conan
Oh my
O'Brien, big
God,
star
he's
from
so
SNL.
good.
Conan O'Brien came from SNL. So
Would you say he came from SNL or The Simpsons?
oh,
He's just
man.
a great writer. He's
Yeah.
just wonderful. I love Conan. I
Yeah.
love Conan.
Conan's great. Like, but it's so
that
there's
is hard.
so many big stars. But like, yeah, it's just interesting to think about. Like, but I'm like, yeah, like it's funny because I would take Sandler for granted and be like, oh no, he is literally probably top 5 in terms. If you talk about success, fandoms, still relevant, like all sorts of things. He's never lost relevancy. His box office is probably the biggest of any SNL people. Like,
But so many of them are still like going on tour. Also, like Chris Rock is
Right.
still like going to comedy tours. David Spade's doing tours.
Mhm.
I'm not saying like you know what I mean. It's just so hard to judge. It kind of just depends on what.
Yeah.
But Sandler is totally relevant.
Yeah.
Still, and the fact that that he gets fired from SNL because they're trying to do their,
Oh, yeah.
their new whatever. It's like how could you fire that entire group like him
Yeah.
and Farley and stuff? Like what? That's insane.
And
But
now
it's
we
like,
have
no,
got
it did
people
him
that
a
never
favor.
leave. We have people that never leave. We have
Yeah.
50 million cast members.
But like
But-
I love Andy Samberg. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I love Andy Samberg.
Yep.
Maya Rudolph, they are
Hater was
fantastic.
great. I
I
love
Bill
Hater.
Hader.
Yeah.
Like that's really difficult to say. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
Sandler because
Yeah. No.
partial. But good question. Good question, Brandon.
Good question. Yeah. It's interesting to me. Like, okay, but yeah, some
I have a
people
very,
hit big for a
um,
moment and then some people still, but yeah, it's crazy.
Now a very important question for you, Little Nicky. Who
Mhm.
has the most terrifying snore? Is it Nicky when he's sleeping, or
Uh-huh.
is it Mr. Beefy?
Oh, so Nicky, when he turns his head over and he has the woman's voice, that takes the cake. I don't know if it's not a snore, but maybe Mr. Beefy with the snore, but Nicky in his sleep. Just yeah.
It's
But
so
yeah.
la la la
La,
la.
la, la. Oh,
The little,
yeah.
it's so creepy, little children. Oh, that's so funny though. I love Mr. Beefy.
Yeah.
You know what? Just watching this, I'm like, I love Little Nicky. It's so fun, and it's fun
Yeah.
to watch them have fun.
Yeah.
And there's still great product placement in there. It's like, how do we get some money for this movie? Let's have him carrying a Kmart bag.
Right.
Did you have to explain Kmart to your son?
No.
Or Popeye's Chicken's still around, but
But
like
Popeyes, I had to tell him though, we didn't have Popeyes when I saw
we
this
did
movie.
not.
We didn't have it. And I was like, what is this? Is this made up for the movie or whatever? And I was like, oh, okay. And then when Popeyes first came, I had to eat it because of Little Nicky.
Yes.
That was what
Popeye's Chicken
drove me
is
to
the
Popeyes.
shiznit. You
Yeah.
gotta go.
That's what drove me to Popeye. And I think the first Popeyes I ever had was in Hollywood when I lived there. It was on the corner of Cahuenga and Hollywood Boulevard. And it was a big corner one. And I was like, I have to have Popeye's chicken. I gotta know. I gotta know. And it was awesome. I tell people I like Popeyes better than the old Chick-fil-A. I always try to point them towards Popeyes. I'm like,
It's still too crispy for me.
oh, see, Chris,
I
I'm crispy.
know.
Do you not get extra crispy from KFC if you
No,
get?
I want that
Oh,
greasy skin. I want
oh
just the
man,
skin. I
I
want.
want the crunch. Oh, okay, fair.
Ugh.
At odds, you'll get your shit faster because extra crispy takes longer, and they usually don't have it ready. So, okay.
But the
yeah,
other part
no,
about Little Nicky I love is that, he's got his now wife, Jackie, in there. She's one of the
yes,
angels. They met on the set of Big Daddy, and then, here she's in this next movie, and it's adorable. I love it so much.
yeah. I was watching.
I love it.
I had forgotten she was in this movie, and then she's in the back. I'm like, is that her? Oh, yeah, it is her. So I was like, yeah, and that's a fun sequence that I totally like. I remember Chubbs being in the movie. I'm like, oh yeah, Reese Witherspoon's in here, and yeah, I was
She's got
like,
like
okay.
Elle Woods vibe, and I love that the angels are just like almost like little
Mhm.
valley girls. Like, I don't know if my son is hot. Ew, I'm not you perv. Like when one of her friends is calling, like asking if Nikki's hot. So funny.
When
And
I
I love
love
that having like gossipy.
right, yeah. And I love, it's crazy. They probably were never on set together or anything, but Harvey Keitel and Reese Witherspoon had great chemistry. Like you bought that this happened. Like you're like, okay,
Absolutely.
but like, and I like, yeah, Harvey Keitel is the devil. Like this is better than Dustin Hoffman in my opinion as the devil. But
And then Rodney
oh yeah,
Dangerfield being basically the grandfather, the father of the devil, like, and him doing his jokes, like, even
Mhm.
in hell, I get no respect. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And I always wondered, I'm sure he wrote his own jokes. So he doesn't have to like have anything written for him. He's like, oh, I can do this. So I love that he still got in there. Did you have to explain Rodney Dangerfield to your son?
I told him about Rodney Dangerfield. I'm like,
Okay.
this guy was so I'm like, he's gonna be like just grandpa here, and this is the first time you ever seen him, but like he was a gigantic, larger than life comedian. And I was like, his thing was never getting respect. That was his bit. And then he had that, and my son laughed because he's like, "Oh, okay,
He did
he did the thing. He said the thing." I was like,
You have
"Yeah,
to show him Ladybugs. That's like one of my favorite
oh
movies
yeah,
I forget about. And then if I see it on, I'm like, ooh, Ladybugs. Okay.
Ladybugs and Back to School. Those were the two Rodney Dangerfield ones that when I was growing up. Yeah, and the boob head.
Oh, Kevin Nealon
That
had his little big boobs and the hairy monster demons like playing with him, and he's so funny.
and I love the Harry Monster Demon as the guy in costume. Like
It's
this
not
movie
like
works better. It sells the movie better than trying to make it some serious. Like I love it, like because it like feels like the movie is not just trying to make this hell story, but it feels like it's paying homage to like a lot of older like movies that with like older fantasy movie type things and like yeah, guy in that's fun. That's more fun
they're
than
like, should we do the fancy graphics? No.
no.
The big guy's in a bird costume. This guy's in a hairy monster costume.
Mhm.
But they do have some good CG and whatnot because
They
like
do.
when Nikki turns into those bunch of spiders,
Yep.
yeah, which freaks me out a little bit, but I love it. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
There's that. And we talk about the soundtrack.
Amazing soundtrack.
Like 3 POD songs on it, I think.
This is 2000. What do you want?
Yeah, and it hit the right well, it had Everlong in there. My son was like, he knew that one. He was like, "Whoa, is this one? Was this one made specially for the movie? Like, because it was an acoustic version." I'm like, I think they had it around, but that's fine. The Incubus was on there, and then I
How
hit the
about
right.
Ozzy in
I bet-
Chicago?
Mom, I'm coming home. I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. It's good moment to drop that one there. And I have to wonder if he was trying to parody Superman when they were flying up in the city together like that, holding hands, because it's very
Maybe.
much like Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve flying around. So I was like, I wonder if he's doing a little Superman riff.
Little
Which,
Peter Pan and Wendy. Really
yeah,
cheap. Hey, look, there's the Popeyes. There's Popeyes. Ah.
Popeyes. Which Patricia Arquette didn't even have to audition for this. He just was like, "You want to do this movie?"
That's
Like,
awesome.
and I'd seen the direct. Like I'd seen like where like the director had like a like he wanted Uma Thurman with this, but like that Patricia Arquette was just like, "Hey, come do the movie." She said yes.
That's
Which
awesome.
you know what's funny? Every time I watch a Patricia Arquette movie from like this little like period from like mid to late 90s to like close to late 2000s, I'm realizing like, oh, she's probably filming Boyhood right now too. Because they filmed Boyhood. Boyhood was filmed over like 12 years, and like so they were constantly getting better back together to film stuff. I'm like, I bet she was filming Boyhood right now. Like, look at her. So, I was like, she's like in the middle of still filming her Academy Award winning role while she's doing Little Nicky. Like it's It's funny to
Amazing.
me. Like I was like, yeah, and she's good. I love the "Hey Valerie," and he flips her off. That's just
I
so
love
funny.
everything. Even him having to talk with his like mouth to the side the entire
Yeah.
time because he got hit by a shovel as a kid from his brother or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, is just so obnoxious and silly because it's like Sandler just does silly voices, you know? And
Mhm.
again, yeah, some critics are always like, man, you're funny, you make voices. Like, shut up.
That used to be the thing with Sandler. That people like Sandler went from
It's
being the
fun.
guy that all us kids liked and the adults were like, huh? But then the adults ended up liking him. I think Happy Gilmore, like, and Wedding Singer, like, transformed him to, like, those were like gateways to like just getting into him in general. I think, that 1-2 punch. Which yeah, I showed me. So he's seen Happy Gilmore. He's seen The Waterboy, The Wedding Singer. This one,
You got to
can't
show him
remember.
Big Daddy.
Gotta show him Big Daddy too.
That's
Yeah,
a great one. I love Big Daddy.
gotta show him Big Daddy. But
And
yeah.
8 Crazy Nights. That's okay. So it's animated. There's a lot of singing. I love the soundtrack, love the music, but it's so fun to watch. And there's, yeah, no, yeah, I think it's fine. It's totally fine. Very
Oh, yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
No, make him watch every single one in order.
There you go.
Even go back and watch Going Overboard.
Well, I
like
didn't
his
know
very,
he
very,
was
very first
watching
thing.
these at first till he told me. I'm like, oh crap. Oh, so he's watching them. But he
Show
had,
it. You gotta
luckily,
show him Coneheads. He makes
oh
a
yeah,
cameo in
Huh.
Coneheads.
He has a good cameo in that one actually. We did that on
Donald R. D. Chico. Yeah,
Summer-
my mother's from there.
summer of '90. I think that was part of summer of '93. Yeah, it was because he did the Chili Peppers music video that went with it. But yeah, we talked about what a nice cameo he had in that movie.
It's wonderful.
And such a and but no, it's funny because going to Little Nicky, he had seen Happy Gilmore and he had seen Waterboy, so he got the two characters.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best.
So
and
he
Henry
was
Winkler showing up again. It's like, hey, that was
yes,
Coach Klein, Mr. Coach Klein.
Well, then I like well, we talked Clint Howard, but that it's just
It is amazing. Him just rubbing his nipples.
oh yeah,
Like
hey.
she's one floor up.
And I like just the focus on the one scene, like over here, like oh no, and then wrong floor. Wrong floor. I just no, that's such good stuff. But yeah,
But he was also in The Waterboy. He was one of the people that watched on the. He's like, you know, one of the townies is watching, and of course he tries to put his like head on Ursula's chest.
Yeah,
when they're doing the heartfelt speech at the hospital, and then she's like, or maybe he's trying to grab her boob. I think that's what it is. It's very funny. Anyway, so that's like another one he brought back. It's almost like, here's my Waterboy team.
The Team Waterboy.
You'll come back.
Yeah, that's what I like about people. Love working with them. They always come back. I was talking with, I was telling you off air. I like met with Justin Beam and I hung out for a bit at Starbucks this past week, and we were talking about like people who make their movies a very family oriented set. And I don't mean by like happy and safe, but like they become a family through productions. And once, and Sandler's got that where people come, they work, they want to work again, they're happy to work. And we're talking about like independent horror movies, dude. Like the Terrifier group seems to be that way. Rob Zombie, people work with Rob Zombie, tend to be that way. There's like this group that gets together and they like working together and they just they keep on doing it. It's fun. Oh, the Wayans we're talking about how they are very much like that, have been that way with their movies and Living Color, and like like Marlon Wayans talking about, like, yeah, we just had a cookout and we always invite everybody we work with to because you're part of us, man.
Right.
Like, so
and once you're in, you're in. Like, oh, Blake Clark, he's in The Waterboy. He plays Farmer
unless you're
Fran.
Kevin McDonald, who's not back till now with Waterboy 2 or Happy Gilmore 2, right? Because has McDonald been in another one with him since?
Who?
Shooter McGavin.
Oh, Christopher McDonald.
Christopher McDonald. Sorry.
You know what? Why do I feel like I saw cameos?
Because I saw an interview with him a couple years ago where he's like, whenever he wants to call, I'll do it again. I've been wanting to work with him again. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. It's even like the guy that played was it
Kevin McDonald's from Kids in the Hall. Christopher McDonald.
But not Christopher McDonald. No, I'm thinking of Michael McDonald. Wait.
Hey, no, man.
Michael McDonald, the comedian. I'm getting anyway. Christopher McDonald. Yes. Shooter McGavin. Shooter. But no, yeah. Blake Clark, Farmer Fran. I freaking love Farmer Fran and The Waterboy. I know this isn't the Waterboy episode.
Yeah.
But he's like, he basically says like, we live to play another day. And he's like, we need to play another day. Or whatever it is. I love it so much. Then he's like a little gatekeeper or one of the helpers to the, the assistant to the devil in hell. So it's like all these people get to just like come back and hang out. I love it.
I did play on my son the Alan Cover. I'm like, do you recognize him? He's like, no. I'm like, do you know where he's from? Like, what? He's like, I'm like, remember the driver with the Michael Jackson jacket in Wedding Singer? He's like, no way. I'm like, yep, way. That's
Remember the caddy and Happy Gilmore with all the
caddy.
hair?
Yep.
Come on.
What a chameleon.
And then of course, Peter Dante. He was one of the quarterbacks. He was the quarterback on The Water Boy, and Lochran was the one with the crazy eyes in The Water Boy. Like,
well, Dante also
joke, Bobby.
he's in the opening scene of Wedding Singer during the Buscemi speech.
Oh yeah.
Or is he? Yeah, is he during the Buscemi speech? He's like, oh my god, something like. Or was he during the bad performance? I can't remember.
He's like, he's basically during Alexis Arquette's stuff. He's like, ugh. And then Steve Buscemi's like, I like her.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's there. Have you seen Bulletproof with Sandler?
Yep, with him and Wayans. Yep,
you got Alan Covert and Dante are in there.
Yep.
For sure. So that's nice. It's nice to see people keep popping up. I enjoy it. So they're all Easter eggs, but Little Nicky's full of them. And I know this isn't like the Easter egg, but I just love, like you always talk about Ozzy being like music of the devil and whatnot.
Yeah.
Ozzy is basically like an angel because one, you play his music on the record, you play it backwards, nothing happens. But if you put Chicago on and you play their record backwards, it's like, you will all, become the children of Satan or whatever it is. And they love it. But then, God gives Reese Witherspoon, Angel, Mommy, this like magic ball that when you break it, Ozzy Osbourne shows up to bite the head off of a bat. I'm like, Ozzy, the whole theme of this movie is that Ozzy is an angel. And he is like of the light. He is not in the Prince of Darkness. He is actually just a well-spoken young man.
Very true. Oh my gosh. Also Laura Herring, who the next year would be in Mulholland Drive, just as Mrs. Dunleavy at the beginning with another like a little teeny role. I'm like, man, get her for that. Like that's crazy. Like just so stacked with people. So maybe it's almost like a thank you to her for his first few movies where everybody's here.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
but it's fun. So did your son like Little Nicky?
He did. Well, he said, like I told you, he goes, that was stupid, but really funny. Or he goes, I don't know if that was stupid, but really funny, or it was really funny because it was really good. I'm like, all right.
Does it matter?
Like,
as long as it's funny. And
you laughed. It succeeded. You laughed a lot. There you go. That's all that mattered. And I still I was worried about going back to this one because I had to see it. So I'm like, I have a soft spot for this movie. I do like this one quite a bit. It worked for me. I've owned it every step of the way. So, very good. So, before we wrap this up, since it's Halloween week, do you have what are your favorite Halloween candies, Jessica? What are some ones that you like popping up?
Oh, Reese's Cups. I'm trying to say it right. Reese's or Reese's. I don't know how you say it.
I have a speculation with that.
Okay.
They're the minis. I don't want them.
There's a bag
taller.
Now. Oh.
And they have like a speck of peanut butter in them. And I'm like, no.
But like if they're in the not that you pass this out for trick-or-treaters, but like the unwrapped minis, that's just dangerous. It's like just handfuls of Reese's Cup. But like maybe those, and then Skittles. I love Skittles.
Skittles are good.
That's probably my favorite.
Gotcha.
Just like that Voodoo Mountain Dew, which did they ever say what the flavor is? I'm sure it's fruit candy again.
Yeah. Fruit candy that is similar to let me you know what? That's good because you got me into this whole voodoo thing.
I drank a bunch of them this year, so
they still haven't said, but it's
oh my gosh.
People saying similar to strawberry Laffy Taffy or strawberry Starburst, which makes sense.
You know what? My boyfriend literally was like saying it was like the Willy Wonka taffy, not the Laffy Taffy, but like but I'm like, no, that's fair. There's like a strawberry type of flavor in there or something, maybe. But then it's like kind of, I don't know if it's not sour, but enough that it's like there's something more than just being sour or strawberry, like fruity. You know what I mean? But this is where I'm like, it's just freaking fruit candy. It's the same. It's probably the same one every year. And we're like, it's something different.
They keep doing it. But the Skittles year is my favorite. This year was
it was
good.
amazing.
Last year's Airheads was good. Cherry Airheads.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That was solid. There was the one year where they obviously were going for candy corn. I think there's one I was just like, yeah, I'm not sure, but I do enjoy them. I do enjoy
They're like
them.
corn syrup candy. Perfect.
Corn, yes. Yum. Drinking it. Yeah, but I'm with you there. Anything peanut butter and chocolate, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mini can't like you just Three Musketeers, Snickers. You're gonna win me over with those. I do like Sour Patch Kids. Those are
Oh yeah.
good.
It's got to be like that. I like the strawberry. Is it strawberry or watermelon? One of those two. But
Okay.
if it's another flavor, I don't know what the other flavor is. I'm not into it. Basically, they have to taste as much like sugar as possible. I know they're sweet and or sour, then they're sweet, whatever. But I'm like, I just need it to be sweet
Yeah, very
right away.
definitely. I do like paydays. I like those, but I usually like to eat a full payday. And I've been telling people the paydays dipped in chocolate. Those are a game changer.
No.
Yeah, those are good. I've had those. But yeah, my favorite candy bar to get though is the peanut butter Snickers, but they don't make those. I don't think they make those in Halloween candy, so that'd be cheating if I said that. But unless you went to someone cool's house,
Right.
and they were like, "Look what we got."
And it's like,
Jumping it in.
ooh.
Are you dressing up for anything this year? Doing any?
There's a Halloween party coming up, and I think we're supposed to dress up. I don't know what to even do because it's very last minute. Very, very last minute. So who knows? We'll see.
Gotcha. I'm extending. I'm extending my Art the Clown costume because I bought a Santa outfit to go with his look for Terrifier 3. So I can wear the mask and the Santa outfit and creep out my neighborhood, which I've been doing a good job of. This will be 3 years in a row. I went as the Happy Death Day Killer, and then I went as Art the Clown last year, and I just walk around being
Right.
me. I know, and it just freaks people out, and I'm very happy by it. My goal is to get reported on my neighborhood's Facebook group.
Oh, you might have you done it on Nextdoor? Have they already reported you?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not on Nextdoor, so
That's where people like to go and gossip.
okay. No, I haven't been
Well,
on
so
that.
and so was seen doing this and this. But I do love when they upload like doorbell like camera videos. Like, look what my driver did. He went and peed behind my house.
Oh, that's good.
Like it's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's good. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I report on there. But I know like a fun thing is like there's a realtor group that we know. They're friends of my brother-in-law. And they set up an adult trick-or-treat stand at the end of a cul-de-sac that has beers. And I went up
Nice.
the first time I was a Happy Death Day Killer. I went up masked and he's like, you're gonna have to show me an ID. And I gave him my ID. He's like, oh, hey, dude, how you doing, dude? Yeah.
Like,
this
don't
is
make me
great.
take the mask off.
Because I don't speak. I just wander around. I
How
stop.
did that was you and it wasn't someone that killed you and took your ID?
Right? Then wouldn't that be? No, that would be. I don't want to talk about that. I'd be dead.
Well, but like,
yeah, that would be
you
something.
should have been like, I don't know if that's actually you though. Like, what if you are? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the season.
Get like a bloody fingerprint on my ID. Be like,
yeah. That's
but what
funny.
I love doing is like I'd follow for years. I would follow my friend, my son, and his two friends, and then like they'd go up trick or treating at a house, and I'd stand there to watch them, and then the person handing them the candy, they go away, and they just kind of assume I was the parent with them, and then they keep going down the street. They keep going down the street, and I'd stand there, staying there, and the discomfort of them slowly closing. Oh,
I would literally go, this is fantastic. You're doing a great job, but I'm scared. Bye. And I would acknowledge it and be like, but I need to leave because I am freaked out. So
I feel bad because if it's young girls, even if I look in their direction on accident, they get uneasy and they'll literally cross the street.
Yeah,
I get it, ladies. I get it. Makes sense. But yeah, and there's one where my wife last year we all were together and someone told my wife, your husband there is doing a real fun job speaking to people. She goes, who? They're like, my husband, you're over there. She goes, oh, we don't know that guy. They're like, what?
Awesome.
She's like, yeah, he's been around the past couple of streets, but yeah. So last year was really cold, but I was warm. So
yeah.
So, but that's my costume. So it'll be Art with a Santa Claus outfit. excited about that.
Yeah. I'll probably just be a witch. Maybe I'll be a witch. That's easy.
There you go. Wicked's
Like-
coming up, right?
I'm like, what? I'm dressed
Celebrate.
as me, but I'm Agatha. I got brown hair. What do you want from me? There you go.
Agablah all along.
Oh, I enjoy it.
I'm ready for it to be over.
I enjoy the songs. It's very, very female
Yeah.
centric. I feel like the female audience enjoys it. I
Very
hope.
campy and stuff, and I appreciate what it's going for, but like I'm like watching that, and then watching Penguin, I'm like, okay, someone's doing something cool. But I think Agatha's good, like perfect release, like nice spooky witch story with sets and stuff for this time of year. But I don't know. I have issues with a lot of Marvel shows too, so that's just me. So it's not Agatha. But one of my friends predicted the storytelling structure of it, like right after like before the first episode, and it's been following that. I'm like, yeah, it's a Marvel thing. So that's how they go. But yeah, Agatha. But I do say to people, I have no problem watching Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza for 40 minutes every week. So no complaint there.
There you go.
Very much so. So okay. But let's wrap this up. So Jessica, till you're back on, which will probably be soon, where can people keep up with you?
I'm over at the Bob and Tom Show Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern. And then how about following me on Instagram? Let's chat about stuff and things at Jessica Alsman, ALSMAN.
There we go. And I'm on the socials at Brandon4KUHD. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel for 4K and Blu-ray reviews. Next week should be my coverage from Oktoberfest 2024. If not, it's a week off because I'm still editing my coverage from Oktoberfest 2024. All depending on the edit. So until then, stay film positive.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.